A massive winter storm is about to slam into more than 30 states across the eastern half of this country. And right now, as I'm speaking to you on this Wednesday, February 25th, 2026, the computer models are literally fighting each other over just how bad this thing is going to get. One model says moderate. The other model says this could be a full-blown crippling event that shuts down cities for days. And I need you to hear both sides of this, because if you live anywhere from the Mississippi Valley to New England, what happens over the next 5 days could shut down your roads, knock out your power, coat your trees in a quarter-inch of solid ice, and make your Monday morning commute absolutely impossible. And here is the part that should really get your attention. This storm is arriving on March 1st, the first day of meteorological spring. And instead of flowers and sunshine, we are talking about 6, 7, maybe 8 inches of snow for some of the biggest cities in America. You cannot make this stuff up. Now here is my promise to you. I am going to walk you through everything, every city, every state, every timeline, every snowfall number. I am going to cover more than 70 cities and locations across this country. I am going to give you exact timing for when this storm starts, when it peaks, and when it ends for your specific area. And by minute 5, you are going to have all of the information you need to make a plan for your family. That is my commitment to you. Let us get after it. But before we go any further, if you are watching this from anywhere in the eastern half of the United States, I need you to drop a comment right now. Tell me your city, tell me your state, because I am going to personally respond with what I think is heading your way. I do this in every single video, and I mean it. I read every single comment. So drop that city name in the comments, and I will get back to you. Now, real quick, before I go any further, let me tell you what is coming later in this video that you absolutely cannot miss. Around the halfway mark, I am going to reveal the pattern flip that is heading into the second week of March. And what that pattern flip means is going to shock a lot of people. Because it is not just about cold and snow anymore, it is about what comes after, and what comes after could be far more dangerous than any blizzard. So stick with me through the whole thing, trust me on this one. All right, let us start with why this storm is even forming in the first place, because when you understand the why, you understand just how dangerous this has the potential to be. And honestly, the science behind this one is kind of wild. Right now, as we sit here on Wednesday afternoon, there is a powerful Arctic high-pressure system sliding down out of Alaska. And I am not talking about a little cold front. I am not talking about a mild chill in the air. I am talking about a monster dome of cold, dense, heavy air that is about to crash into the northern plains of the United States like a freight train running at full speed. By this weekend, Saturday night into Sunday, temperatures in parts of North Dakota are going to plunge to 30 degrees below zero. South Dakota, Minnesota, northern Nebraska. We are talking about some of the coldest air these places have seen since the middle of January. Let that sink in for a second. 30 below zero. That is the kind of cold where exposed skin gets frostbitten in under 10 minutes. That is the kind of cold where your car battery does not just struggle, it flat out gives up. That is the kind of cold where if your furnace goes out in the middle of the night, you have got a real emergency on your hands. But here is where this gets wild, and honestly, here is what nobody is talking about yet. At the exact same time that 30 below zero air is settling into the northern plains, temperatures just a few hundred miles to the south in Nebraska, Kansas, Oklahoma, and Texas are going to be pushing up near 80 to 90 degrees. Let me say that again, 80 to 90 degrees in late February, in some cases in the same state. You could have the northern half of Nebraska at 10 below zero and the southern half of Kansas at 85 degrees. That is a temperature difference of nearly 100 degrees over a few hundred miles. Now think about what that means. You have got this massive clash of air masses. You have got the coldest air on the continent slamming into some of the warmest air these places have seen all winter. And when you get that kind of contrast, when you get that kind of war between warm and cold, the atmosphere does not just sit there quietly, it goes to war. And the battlefield is going to be right across the middle of this country. So how does this storm actually form? Let me break it down because the mechanics of this thing are fascinating and they are going to tell you exactly why certain cities are at risk. Step 1. That Arctic high-pressure system locks cold, dense air right at the surface across the Ohio Valley, the Great Lakes, and the Northeast. This cold air is heavy, it hugs the ground, it does not move, it just sits there like a block of ice. Step 2. At the same time, a wave of energy from the Pacific Ocean comes racing across the western United States. It crosses the Rocky Mountains, and when it drops down into the plains, something critical happens. It triggers the development of a surface low-pressure system right there along the Front Range of Colorado. This is what meteorologists call a Colorado low. And if you know anything about weather history, you know that Colorado lows are responsible for some of the biggest, nastiest, most disruptive winter storms the eastern United States has ever seen. Step 3. That Pacific energy rides up and over the dome of cold air at the surface, and then warm, moist air from the Gulf of Mexico surges northward and collides with everything. You have got cold air on the bottom, warm air riding over the top, moisture streaming in from the south, and energy spinning in from the west. All four ingredients slamming together at the same time. This is what meteorologists call an overrunning event. And if that term sounds familiar, it should. Because this is the exact same setup, the exact same pattern that caused the major ice storm back in January, the one that knocked out power to hundreds of thousands of people across multiple states, the one that coated roads, bridges, and power lines in a thick layer of solid ice. Now, I am not saying this storm is going to be a carbon copy of January. The data suggests this one will not be quite as intense on the ice side, but the ingredients are there, the pattern is there, and that should have every single person in the path of this thing paying attention. All right, let us talk timing, because I know that is what you came here for, and I am going to go through this region by region, city by city, so you know exactly what to expect and when to expect it. But first, before the main storm even arrives, there is a sneaky little system moving through tomorrow that could make things messy for millions of people. Let me tell you about that real quick, because a lot of folks are going to get caught off guard by this one. Thursday, February 26th, tomorrow, a weak wave of energy is going to slide through the Ohio Valley and Mid-Atlantic. Most models are showing a stripe of light snow from Bloomington, Illinois, through Indianapolis, down into Cincinnati, across to Charleston in West Virginia, and even up into Washington, D.C. and Philadelphia. Now, this is not the main event. I want to be very clear about that. This is the appetizer. The opening act before the headliner takes the stage. We are talking about a skiff to a coating, maybe an inch in the heaviest spots. But here is what a lot of people forget. Even a half-inch of snow can make roads incredibly slippery, especially on bridges and overpasses which freeze before the rest of the road's surface. And it is especially dangerous when people are not expecting it. So if you are in Cincinnati, be ready for a slick commute tomorrow morning and into the afternoon. If you are in Washington, D.C., do not be surprised to see some flakes mixing in with rain Thursday afternoon. On elevated surfaces and in the shadows of buildings where the pavement stays cold, things could get slick. Indianapolis, same story. A dusting is possible. Not a major event by any stretch, but worth knowing about so you are not caught off guard on the highway. South of that snow line, we are talking about rain, and in some cases, heavy rain. Nashville, Tennessee, Knoxville, Chattanooga, Charlotte, North Carolina, Raleigh, Greensboro. All of these cities could see a couple inches of rain in a relatively short period of time tomorrow and into Thursday night. And that rain is going to come with some punch, lightning, thunder, gusty winds, maybe even some small hail in the strongest cells. If you are in Birmingham, Alabama, or down towards Atlanta, Georgia, or Montgomery, Alabama, or Huntsville, or even as far south as Dothan, Alabama, Thursday afternoon and evening could bring some real thunderstorms your way. Nothing I would classify as severe at this point, but definitely enough to get your attention if you are driving. Be extra careful on your Thursday evening commute if you are in the southeast. Now, here is something worth keeping in mind. That rain in the southeast from Alabama through the Carolinas is going to be the dominant weather feature over the next 7 days for that part of the country. Several locations in Alabama, Mississippi, Georgia, Florida, South Carolina, and North Carolina could pick up 2 to 3 inches of rain or more over the next week. Some of that rain will be heavy enough to cause localized flooding, especially in low-lying areas and places with poor drainage. Keep that in the back of your mind if you live in the southeast. Friday, February 27th. The Thursday system pulls away to the east coast and becomes a coastal storm. It exits the picture. and we get a brief, beautiful break. Actually, Friday is going to be a legitimately nice day for a lot of people in the eastern half of the country. Temperatures will bounce up. You might see some sunshine. It is going to feel almost spring, like in a few spots. Enjoy it. Seriously, step outside and take a walk, because it is the calm before the storm. And I mean that literally. What is coming Saturday night and Sunday is going to feel like a completely different world Saturday, February 28th. Here is where the setup really locks in. That Arctic high-pressure system is now fully positioned across the northern tier of the country. Cold air is spilling south into the Great Lakes, the Ohio Valley, and the Northeast. Meanwhile, out to the west, that Pacific energy I told you about is crossing the Rockies and dropping into the plains. By Saturday evening, you are going to start seeing snow break out across the northern plains. Let me tell you exactly where. Bismarck, North Dakota. Snow starts Saturday evening. Temperatures will already be well below zero. Wind chills could hit 30 below, 2 to 4 inches of snow likely. But the cold is the real story here. Dangerously cold, Fargo, North Dakota. Very similar to Bismarck. Snow and extreme cold Saturday night into Sunday. 2 to 3 inches. Wind chills 30 below and potentially colder. Aberdeen, South Dakota. Snow starts Saturday evening. 2 to 4 inches. Blowing and drifting snow will make visibility terrible on the highways. Sioux Falls, South Dakota. Snow starts late Saturday night, 2 to 4 inches. Very cold wind chills Sunday morning, now moving south into the upper Midwest. Minneapolis and St. Paul, Minnesota. You are going to get clipped by the northern edge of this storm. Snow starts late Saturday night into early Sunday morning. 2 to 3 inches of snow, but the wind chills are going to be the big story. 20 to 30 below zero wind chills Saturday night and Sunday morning. That combination of snow, cold, and wind is going to make travel miserable. Rochester, Minnesota. 3 to 4 inches of snow starts Saturday night. Similar brutal cold. Duluth, Minnesota. On the northern fringe, 1 to 3 inches but extreme cold. La Crosse, Wisconsin, right in the crosshairs. 3 to 5 inches of snow starting Sunday morning. This is going to be a messy Sunday for La Crosse, Madison, Wisconsin. 3 to 5 inches starting Sunday afternoon. The Sunday evening commute, if you have one, is going to be bad. Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Snow starts Sunday night and continues into Monday morning. 3 to 5 inches likely. Lake-enhanced snow bands could bump that number higher. If you are on the south side of the metro, closer to the lake, you might see an extra inch or two. Green Bay, Wisconsin, on the northern edge, 2 to 4 inches. Start Sunday evening. Could go higher if the storm tracks further north. Now let us move into Iowa and Illinois, because this is where the storm is going to be in full swing by Sunday afternoon, Des Moines, Iowa. This is one of the cities that every single model is highlighting. Snow starts Sunday afternoon, and by Sunday evening, it could be snowing hard. We are talking heavy, steady snowfall with rates of an inch per hour at times. The national blend of models has Des Moines at 4 to 6 inches, but I honestly think some neighborhoods in Des Moines could see 6 to 8 inches if they end up under the heaviest band. Cedar Rapids, Iowa, very similar to Des Moines, 4 to 6 inches starting Sunday afternoon. Davenport, Iowa, on the Quad Cities corridor, 3 to 5 inches starting Sunday evening. Waterloo, Iowa. 3 to 5 inches starts Sunday afternoon, Mason City, Iowa. 3 to 4 inches starting Sunday afternoon, now into Illinois. Chicago, Illinois. All right, let us talk about Chicago, because this is where tens of millions of people are going to be impacted. Snow starts Sunday evening in the western suburbs and works its way into the city by Sunday night. The national blend of models has Chicago at 4 to 6 inches. But here is the thing that people need to understand. If the heaviest snow band sets up just a little further north than currently projected, Chicago could be looking at 8 to 10 inches. And if it shifts south, Chicago might only get 2 or 3. That is the kind of uncertainty we are dealing with at 5 days out. But either way, some amount of snow is coming to Chicago. That is not a question. It is only a question of how much. The Monday morning commute in Chicago is going to be a disaster. Plan accordingly. If you can work from home Monday, do it. Rockford, Illinois, 4 to 6 inches. Snow starts Sunday afternoon, Peoria, Illinois. 3 to 5 inches starting Sunday evening, Springfield, Illinois. 3 to 4 inches. You are on the southern fringe of the heavy snow, Champaign, Illinois. 2 to 4 inches. Similar timing. Now here is where I need you to really pay attention, because we are about to enter the heart of this storm. The Ohio Valley, and I think this is where the storm could be at its absolute worst. Indianapolis, Indiana. The models are zeroing in on Indianapolis for a significant snow event. The national blend has Indianapolis at 3 to 4 inches, but the GFS model, which has been running hot with this storm, is showing 6 to 8 inches for Indianapolis. Snow starts Sunday night and does not let up until Monday afternoon. We are talking about a 12 to 18-hour snowfall event. And with temperatures well below freezing the entire time, every single inch that falls is going to stick to the roads. Do not plan on going anywhere Monday if you live in Indianapolis. Just do not. Fort Wayne, Indiana, 4 to 6 inches. Snow starts late Sunday night. South Bend, Indiana, 3 to 5 inches, some lake enhancement possible. Evansville, Indiana. This is the southern fringe. You might see a mix of snow and sleet. 2 to 3 inches of snow likely, but freezing rain is a possibility. Terre Haute, Indiana, 3 to 5 inches. Starts late Sunday night. Lafayette, Indiana, 4 to 6 inches, right in the heavy snow zone. Muncie, Indiana, 3 to 5 inches, now crossing into Ohio. And Ohio is going to get hit hard from border to border. Columbus, Ohio. The national blend has Columbus at 4 to 5 inches. Snow starts early Monday morning, right in time for the morning commute, and continues through Monday evening. This could be one of the more disruptive snow events Columbus has seen this winter. Temperatures will be in the low 20s, so this is going to be dry, powdery snow that blows around in the wind. Cincinnati, Ohio. Now, Cincinnati is a tricky forecast, and here is why. Cincinnati sits right near the rain, snow, sleet, and freezing rain line. If the cold air wins the battle, Cincinnati gets 4 to 6 inches of heavy, wet snow. If the warm air pushes just a little further north, Cincinnati could end up with a dangerous mix of freezing rain and sleet that coats everything in ice. Either way, Cincinnati is going to have a messy, potentially dangerous Monday. If you are driving over any of those bridges across the Ohio River, please be extremely careful. Cleveland, Ohio. 3 to 5 inches of snow starting Monday morning. And here is the kicker for Cleveland. Lake effect snow bands could fire up on the backside of this storm Tuesday into Wednesday. That could add another 2 to 4 inches on top of whatever the main storm drops. East side suburbs, I am looking at you. Mentor, Chardon, Painesville, you could see significantly higher totals. Dayton, Ohio, right in the heart of the heavy snow zone. 4 to 6 inches is very possible. Monday is going to be brutal. Toledo, Ohio, 3 to 4 inches. Snow starts late Sunday night into early Monday morning. Akron, Ohio, 3 to 5 inches. Very similar timing to Cleveland, Canton, Ohio, 3 to 5 inches. Youngstown, Ohio, 3 to 5 inches. You are right on the border with Pennsylvania, and you are going to get a solid hit from this storm. Now, do not go anywhere, because what I am about to tell you about the Mid-Atlantic and the Northeast is the part that could surprise a lot of people. Millions of people. And this is the section I have been building up to. If you live anywhere from Pittsburgh to Portland, Maine, the next 60 seconds are critical. But first, let me address the freezing rain threat, because this is the part of the storm that honestly worries me more than the snow. There is a narrow corridor where this storm could produce significant ice accumulation instead of snow. Right now, the models are painting that corridor from central Kansas through Missouri into Kentucky and up into parts of West Virginia, and the western slopes of the Appalachian Mountains. Let me name the cities. Wichita, Kansas, Topeka, Kansas, Jefferson City, Missouri, Springfield, Missouri, the Lake of the Ozarks area, Lexington, Kentucky, Frankfort, Kentucky, Louisville, Kentucky, Charleston, West Virginia, Beckley, West Virginia, Roanoke, Virginia. If you live in any of these places, listen to me carefully. A 1/4 inch of ice accumulation can bring down tree branches onto your car, your house, your power lines. A 1/2 inch of ice can snap wooden power poles. And if we get anywhere near what happened during the January ice storm, some of these areas could be looking at ice accumulations that cause widespread multi-day power outages. The exact placement of this freezing rain line could shift north or south by several hundred miles. That is a lot of uncertainty. But the threat is real, and if you are anywhere in this corridor, please do not wait. Charge your phones. Charge your portable batteries, get flashlights out, make sure you have extra blankets, have a plan for how you are going to stay warm if the power goes out Monday night. All right, the Northeast, let us go. Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. The national blend has Pittsburgh at 4 inches of snow, but I think Pittsburgh could overperform. If the storm wraps enough moisture around the low pressure system, Pittsburgh could easily see 5 to 7 inches. Snow starts Monday morning and could continue right through Monday night into early Tuesday morning. The Monday evening commute in Pittsburgh is going to be a mess. Those hills and bridges are going to be treacherous. Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Now, Philadelphia just went through a historic blizzard. Snowbanks are still lining the streets. And now here comes another significant snow event. The national blend has Philadelphia at 5 inches. Snow starts Monday afternoon and continues into Tuesday morning. The Monday evening commute in Philadelphia is going to be an absolute nightmare. Plan ahead. If you can leave work early on Monday, do it. Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, 4 to 6 inches, right in the heart of the snow zone. The Susquehanna Valley is going to get hammered. Scranton, Pennsylvania, 4 to 5 inches. Snow could come in heavy bands Monday night with rates over an inch per hour at times. Allentown, Pennsylvania, 4 to 6 inches. The Lehigh Valley is going to see a significant event. Reading, Pennsylvania, 4 to 5 inches. State College, Pennsylvania, 4 to 6 inches. Happy Valley is going to be buried. Williamsport, Pennsylvania, 3 to 5 inches. Now into the New York and New Jersey metro area. And this is the forecast that affects more people than almost anywhere else in the country. New York City. Here is the deal. The national blend of models has New York City at 5 inches of snow. But let me be completely straight with you. New York is sitting in one of the most volatile spots in this entire forecast. Depending on the exact track of the low-pressure system, New York could get anywhere from 2 inches on the low end to 8 inches on the high end. If the storm takes a slightly more southern track, which the GFS model is suggesting, New York gets hammered. If it takes a more northern track, which the European model leans toward, New York might just see a couple inches of wet, slushy snow. 5 inches is our best estimate right now. But that number has a wide margin of error. Snow starts Monday evening and could continue through Tuesday morning. The Tuesday morning commute in New York City could be one of the worst of the winter. Long Island, New York. Similar to the city, but the eastern end of Long Island, think Riverhead, Montauk, the Hamptons, could see even more if the coastal low pressure intensifies as it moves up the coast. 4 to 6 inches for most of Long Island, could be more on the South Fork and the North Fork. Newark, New Jersey, 4 to 6 inches, same timing as New York City. The PATH trains and New Jersey Transit are going to have a rough Monday night and Tuesday morning. Trenton, New Jersey, 4 to 5 inches. Jersey City, New Jersey, same as Newark, 4 to 6 inches. Albany, New York, 3 to 4 inches. You are on the northern fringe of the heaviest snow. Syracuse, New York, 2 to 4 inches from the storm itself. But here's the thing about Syracuse. Lake effect snow could add another 2 to 4 inches on top of that after the main storm exits. So total accumulations of 4 to 8 inches are possible when you factor in lake effect. Buffalo, New York, 3 to 4 inches from the main storm. Lake effect enhancement possible afterward. Rochester, New York, 3 to 5 inches. Lake effect could add more. Binghamton, New York, 4 to 5 inches. The southern tier of New York State is going to be right in the path. Utica, New York, 3 to 5 inches. And now, New England. These are the folks who just got absolutely hammered by a historic blizzard. Snowbanks in some neighborhoods are taller than the street signs, and now they might be getting more. Let me walk through the cities. Boston, Massachusetts. The national blend has Boston at 4.5 inches, but here is the twist. Both the GFS model and the European ensemble data show the highest snowfall probabilities setting up right over Massachusetts. The European ensembles show their highest numbers right in the Boston, Hudson Valley, Northeast Pennsylvania, Vermont, and New Hampshire corridor. If those models are right, Boston could see 6 to 8 inches out of this system. Snow starts late Monday night and continues through Tuesday evening. That means the Tuesday commute in Boston could be brutal. Hartford, Connecticut, 4 to 5 inches. Snow starts Monday night and continues into Tuesday afternoon. New Haven, Connecticut, 3 to 5 inches. Coastal areas could see more rain mixing in, which would lower totals. Providence, Rhode Island, 4 to 6 inches. Very similar timing to Boston. Worcester, Massachusetts, 5 to 7 inches. Higher elevation means higher totals. Worcester always overperforms in these storms. Springfield, Massachusetts, 4 to 6 inches. Portland, Maine, 3 to 5 inches from the main storm. But down east, Maine could see significantly more. Bangor and the areas to the north and east could really get walloped. Burlington, Vermont, 3 to 4 inches. The Green Mountains could see much more. Montpelier, Vermont, 3 to 5 inches. Concord, New Hampshire, 4 to 5 inches. Snow could be heavy at times Tuesday morning. Manchester, New Hampshire, 4 to 5 inches as well. Now, I promised you the full picture by minute 5, and I have delivered. But we are absolutely not done. Not even close. Because what happens after this storm is what I think is really going to surprise people. and it might be the most important thing I say in this entire video. Do not skip this next part. Seriously, if you skip ahead right now, you are going to miss the thing that could matter more than this entire winter storm. But before we get to the pattern flip, let me spend a minute on something that I think is really important for you to understand. And that is why the forecasts are so different depending on which model you look at. Right now, there are two major computer models that meteorologists rely on. The GFS, which is the American model, and the European model, which is run out of the European Center for Medium-Range Weather Forecasts. These are incredibly sophisticated computer programs that crunch trillions of data points to simulate what the atmosphere is going to do over the next several days. And right now, they are telling two very different stories about this storm. The GFS model is the aggressive one. It wants to pump a massive amount of moisture into this system. The GFS is showing heavy snow for the Ohio Valley, 6+ inches for cities like St. Louis and Indianapolis, and it even tries to push significant snow as far south as Central Virginia and North Carolina. That is a big storm. Now, here's the thing about the GFS. It has a reputation for sometimes overhyping storms. It gets excited, it runs hot, and then reality ends up being less impressive. But, and this is important, the GFS just had a huge win. It nailed the historic nor'easter that slammed New England just a couple of weeks ago. The European model said that storm was not going to happen. The GFS said it was going to be a monster, and the GFS was right. So the GFS has earned some credibility here. You cannot just dismiss it. The European model, on the other hand, is more conservative with this storm. It still shows winter weather. It still shows snow for the Ohio Valley and the Northeast, but it is a more moderate event, less moisture, less total snowfall. The European has this as more of a 3 to 4 inch event for most cities rather than the 6 to 8 inches the GFS is showing. The European model has historically been the more reliable of the two over the long run, but again, it just missed that nor'easter badly, so it is not perfect either. And then there are the artificial intelligence models, and this is where weather forecasting is getting really interesting. These AI models use machine learning algorithms that have been trained on decades of historical weather data. Some of these AI models are showing an even more suppressed system, with the heaviest snow tracking further south than what either the GFS or European model shows. If the AI models are right, the big Midwest and Northeast cities would see less snow, and the southern Appalachians would get hit harder. So which model is right? Honestly, I do not know yet. Nobody does. Not a single meteorologist on this planet knows exactly what is going to happen 5 days from now with this storm. And anyone who tells you they do is not being straight with you. But here's what I can tell you with very high confidence. A winter storm is coming early next week. The energy is there, the moisture is there, the cold air is there, all the ingredients are locked and loaded. The only question is exactly where the heaviest band of snow and ice sets up. And we are going to know a lot more by Friday and Saturday as the short-range models come into better agreement and the picture sharpens up. So keep watching, because I will be right here with updated numbers as soon as they come in. After this storm moves through early next week, you would think we would get a break. You would think March would come in and the worst of winter would be behind us. But the long-range data is showing something very different, something that should have your attention. We are looking at a major pattern flip heading into the second week of March. And this pattern flip could reshape the entire weather landscape of the United States for the next 2 to 4 weeks. I have been watching the data on this for several days now, and it is becoming more and more consistent with each model run. This is not a fluke. This is a real signal. Here is what is happening. Right now, the jet stream has been locked in a pattern that keeps cold air bottled up in the north and pushes storms through the Great Lakes and Northeast. That is why we have seen so much winter weather this season in those areas. It has been storm after storm after storm. But starting around March 4th through March 10th, every single piece of long-range data, and I mean every single one, the Climate Prediction Center, the European ensembles, the GFS extended range, the Canadian model, the AI models, all of them are pointing toward a dramatic shift in the jet stream pattern. The Climate Prediction Center outlook for that 8 to 14-day period shows above average temperatures across virtually the entire lower 48 states, almost every single state, warmer than normal. And on top of that, above average precipitation right through the heart of the country, the Rockies, and the Appalachian chain. Now here is why that matters. And here is what I think a lot of weather channels are not emphasizing enough. When you combine warmer than normal temperatures with above average moisture, and you are entering the month of March, you are setting the stage for severe weather season, not just a few thunderstorms. We are talking about the potential for hail, damaging straight-line winds, and yes, tornadoes. The European ensemble model is already starting to bump up the probability of severe weather across Texas, Arkansas, Louisiana, and Mississippi by the middle of next week and into the 10-day and beyond range. Those odds are still relatively low right now, but they are rising with every model run, and the pattern that is developing is exactly, and I mean exactly, the kind of pattern that produces tornado outbreaks in the plains and the deep south during the month of March. So if you live in Dallas, Fort Worth, Houston, San Antonio, Austin, Oklahoma City, Tulsa, Norman, Little Rock, Shreveport, Baton Rouge, Jackson, Mississippi, Hattiesburg, Memphis, Nashville, Birmingham, Mobile, or anywhere in the central and southern plains, you need to start thinking about your severe weather preparedness plan right now. Where is your safe room? Where is the closest storm shelter? Do you have a weather radio? Do you have a way to receive tornado warnings in the middle of the night when you are asleep? I am not trying to scare you. That is never my goal. I have never once tried to scare anybody with these videos. My goal is to inform you, to prepare you, to give you the information you need so that when severe weather does happen, you are not caught off guard. And there is a massive difference between being scared and being prepared. Scared people panic. Prepared people act. I want you to be the person who acts. And let me tell you something about March severe weather that a lot of people do not realize. Some of the deadliest tornado outbreaks in American history have happened in March. Not April, not May. March. When a warm, moist pattern takes over after a prolonged cold winter, the atmosphere becomes incredibly volatile. The jet stream is still strong from winter. The moisture from the Gulf is ramping up. And when those two things combine with the kind of temperature contrasts we are seeing, you get the perfect setup for explosive, severe weather. I am not predicting a major tornado outbreak. That would be irresponsible this far out. But I am telling you that the pattern is there. The ingredients are aligning, and the signal is growing stronger with every model run. Be aware of it. Start thinking about it. And if you live in the areas I just mentioned, make sure you have a plan before you need it. Now, here is the other thing about this pattern flip that I think is going to catch people completely off guard. And it is kind of counterintuitive. It sounds like it should not be possible, but the math checks out. When you look at the 2-week temperature outlook, even places like Minneapolis, Milwaukee, Detroit, New York City, and Boston, places that are about to get absolutely blasted by this Arctic cold this weekend, are actually going to average above normal temperatures over the next 2 weeks when you add it all together. Now, how on earth is that possible when we are about to get 30 below zero temperatures this weekend? It is because the warmth that arrives after this storm is so intense, so aggressive, so persistent that it completely overwhelms the cold snap in the overall averages. Think of it like this. If you have 3 days at 20 below and then 11 days at 15 above normal, the average still comes out above normal. The temperature pendulum is about to swing hard, and I mean violently hard, in the opposite direction. And here is the part that connects directly to the severe weather threat. Kentucky, Tennessee, North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, Alabama, Mississippi. All of these states are showing much above average temperatures in the 2-week mean. Some of these places could be 15 to 20 degrees above normal for an extended stretch. And when you combine that kind of unusual warmth with Gulf of Mexico moisture streaming northward into the plains and up through the Mississippi and Ohio valleys, you get a recipe for very active, very volatile weather. Heavy rain, thunderstorms, strong to severe thunderstorms, and the growing, very real threat of tornadoes as we push deeper into March. We are also going to start seeing cooler than normal temperatures trying to nose into parts of the western United States. And that matters, because when you get warm air and ridging in the east with cooler air and troughing in the west, that is the classic severe weather pattern for the central United States. It is the setup that storm chasers dream about, and it is the setup that emergency managers dread. We could very well be looking at a significant transition from winter storm mode to severe weather mode in the span of about 7 to 10 days. That is how fast this pattern is flipping. All right, let me circle back to the immediate storm for a moment because I want to make sure everybody has the key information locked in. Here is your quick reference. Print this out, screenshot this, save this video, whatever you need to do. If you live in the northern plains from Bismarck to Fargo to Sioux Falls to Aberdeen, you are getting the cold first. Saturday night, 30 below zero wind chills, 2 to 4 inches of snow. Dangerously cold through Sunday. If you live in the upper Midwest from Minneapolis to Rochester to La Crosse to Madison, snow starts late Saturday into Sunday. 2 to 5 inches. Extreme wind chills. If you live in Iowa or Illinois from Des Moines to Cedar Rapids to Chicago to Rockford to Peoria, snow starts Sunday afternoon and gets heavy Sunday night, 4 to 6 inches or more. The Monday morning commute is in serious jeopardy. If you live in Missouri, St. Louis leans toward heavy snow, 4 to 6 inches, possibly more. Kansas City leans toward a dangerous wintry mix of snow, sleet, and freezing rain. Watch the ice threat carefully. If you live in Indiana from Indianapolis to Fort Wayne to South Bend to Terre Haute, snow starts Sunday night and continues through Monday afternoon, 3 to 6 inches for most locations. Indianapolis could see significantly more. If you live in Ohio from Columbus to Cincinnati to Cleveland to Dayton to Toledo, snow starts late Sunday night into early Monday morning, 3 to 6 inches across the state. Cincinnati has a notable ice risk. Cleveland could see lake-effect snow on the backside. If you live in the mid-Atlantic from Pittsburgh to Philadelphia to Harrisburg to Baltimore to Washington, D.C., mixed precipitation starts Monday, 2 to 5 inches of snow for most locations. Philadelphia leans toward the higher end. If you live in the New York and New Jersey metro area, snow starts Monday evening, 3 to 6 inches for the metro. Upstate could see additional lake effect. If you live in New England from Boston to Hartford to Providence to Portland, snow starts late Monday into Tuesday, 4 to 7 inches for many locations. Higher amounts possible in western Massachusetts, southern Vermont, and New Hampshire. If you live in the freezing rain corridor from central Kansas through Missouri into Kentucky and the Appalachians, watch for dangerous ice accumulations that could bring down trees and power lines. Have a plan for power outages. That is your complete city-by-city breakdown. More than 70 locations, exact timing, exact snowfall ranges. Now you know what is coming. Here is what I need you to do between now and Sunday, and I am serious about this. Do not just nod along and forget. Actually do these things. First, go charge all of your devices tonight. Your phone, your tablet, your portable battery charger, your laptop. If the power goes out Monday, and for some of you in the ice zone it could be out for days, you want to have fully charged devices. Your phone is your lifeline during a power outage. It is how you get weather warnings. It is how you call for help. Keep it charged. Second, if you need groceries, prescriptions, or supplies, get them by Saturday at the latest. Actually, Friday would be even better. Do not wait until Sunday afternoon when everyone else in your city is scrambling to buy bread and milk and rock salt, because if this storm overperforms, and there is a real chance it could, the shelves will be empty and the roads will already be starting to deteriorate by Sunday evening. Get ahead of this thing. Third, if you are in the potential ice zone and you know who you are after what I just told you, have a very serious conversation with your family tonight about what you will do if the power goes out. That means flashlights in every room, fresh batteries, extra blankets, bottled water, because if the power goes out, some of you on well water lose your water supply too. And most importantly, do not, I repeat, do not try to heat your home by running your car in a closed garage or by bringing a gas grill or a propane heater inside your house. Carbon monoxide poisoning kills people every single winter during power outages. It is odorless, it is colorless, and it is deadly. Do not let that happen to your family. Fourth, talk to your neighbors. This is a big one. Check on elderly family members. Check on anyone who lives alone. Check on that neighbor down the street who you know does not have family nearby. Winter storms are dangerous, but the people who are most at risk are not the people watching this video right now. The most at-risk people are the ones who are isolated, who do not have anyone checking on them, who might not even know this storm is coming. Be that person for someone. One phone call, one knock on the door could literally save a life. Fifth, make sure your car is ready. If you absolutely have to drive on Monday, make sure you have a full tank of gas or a full charge if you have an electric vehicle. Keep a blanket in your car. Keep a flashlight, keep some bottled water, and a couple of granola bars. If you slide off the road or get stuck in traffic for hours, which happens every single time we get a storm like this, you want to be able to stay warm and comfortable until help arrives. And sixth, Keep watching these updates. I am going to be tracking this storm every single day from now until it moves out to sea. The models are going to shift. The snow totals are going to change. The ice line is going to move north or south, and I will be right here breaking it all down for you in plain English so you can make the best decisions for your family. That is what this channel is about. That is what we do here. Before I let you go, one more thing. In my next video, I am going to do something I have been getting a lot of requests for. I am going to break down the full severe weather season outlook for 2026, which states are most at risk this year, when the peak tornado threat window opens, what the latest climate data is telling us about whether this is going to be an above average or below average severe weather season. And I am going to go state by state through Tornado Alley, Dixie Alley, and everywhere in between. That video is going to be packed with information you are not going to hear anywhere else. I am talking about detailed maps, historical comparisons, and a region-by-region risk assessment that is going to help you understand exactly what kind of spring we might be in for. You seriously do not want to miss it. Make sure you are subscribed so you do not... All right, one last thing before I let you go. I know there is a lot of information in this video. I know it can feel overwhelming when you hear about 30 below zero temperatures and 6 inches of snow and ice storms and tornadoes all in the same breath. But here is what I want you to remember. Knowledge is not fear. Knowledge is power. When you know what is coming, you can prepare. When you prepare, you protect yourself and the people you love. That is what this is all about. We have been through tough weather before. We will get through this one too, but we get through it by being smart, by being prepared, and by looking out for each other. All right, drop that comment, tell me your city, tell me your state. I am going to get back to you with a personalized forecast for your area. That is what makes this community different. We do not just throw information at you and walk away. We have a conversation, we help each other. So let me know where you are and I will tell you what I think is heading your way. This storm is coming, the cold is coming, and the pattern flip into March is going to change everything we have been talking about for the last several weeks. Make sure you are ready. Make sure your family is ready. Make sure your neighbors are ready. I will see you in the next one. Stay safe out there. And remember, do not be scared. Be prepared. And one more thing. If you found this video helpful, if it gave you information that you think could help somebody else in your life, share it. Send it to your mom. Send it to your neighbor. Send it to your coworker who drives 45 minutes to work every morning on the highway. Because the more people who have this information, the safer our communities are going to be when this storm rolls through. Information saves lives. That is not an exaggeration. It is a fact. All right. That is all I have for you. I will be back tomorrow with updated numbers as the models come in. The picture is going to get sharper and sharper over the next 48 hours. And when it does, you will be the first to know. Stay warm, stay safe, and I will talk to you very soon.